Wall Street Journal White House correspondent Colleen McCain Nelson, who's also been covering the Democrats for the Journal. Great reporting. Glad to have you. We heard that statistic from Garrett. 66% of voters don't find Clinton honest and trustworthy. Is the email scandal something that is resonating with Democratic primary voters rather than general election voters?
Well, at this point, it's a little bit of a moot question just because she's on the march to the nomination and she's not going to, the math is on her side, so she's not going to be derailed. But it does fuel the existing narrative that she can't be trusted. And so she has been out there saying this was allowed, I didn't do anything wrong, it was permissible to use private email, but the report says very clearly this was not allowed.
And facts, and sometimes gets in the way of good talking points.
Exactly.
Do you think Bernie Sanders' campaign, shall we say, regrets we don't want to hear about your whatever emails anymore?
Right. Well, at this point, they're not showing any signs of regret. They're certainly holding firm to that. Points for consistency, perhaps, but it was also perhaps a missed opportunity. And so even with this report now in hand, Bernie Sanders is still not attacking her on this. His campaign manager, his surrogates are still not talking about this issue. And so it certainly could have been a useful issue for them at this moment and leading up to this moment, but they just won't go there.
If you had talked about this race about a year ago, this should have been long over. You should have been back here on your couch in Washington, not still on a plane every other minute. We're 58 days to Philadelphia. How worried are Hillary Clinton's folks that there's not really a coalescing of the Democratic Party around her, and even if she does win the nomination, it will be contentious at best?
Right. Well, this is a challenge, and at this point I think the Clinton campaign is trying to assess exactly how steep a challenge, because part of the problem is they don't know exactly what Bernie Sanders wants. And he's showing that he's willing to not only contest every primary, but he wants to fight over things both big and small related to the convention. So it's not just that he wants to influence the platform or that he wants a primetime speaking slot. Even this morning you saw Bernie Sanders' campaign coming out fighting, asking to have two particular Clinton surrogates removed from convention
committee. And those kind of, really going, this is tough.
They're fighting every little fight. And so
what do you think they want? Does he want to be VP?
I don't think that's what he's after necessarily, and that seems like a pretty far-fetched idea, at least in terms of what the Clinton camp wants. So I don't think that's a gettable target for them. But they certainly want to influence the platform. They want to, they say, change the system. They call it a rigged system.
Right. We're going to fight against the man.
Right.
You watched the video from Nevada where the Bernie Sanders supporters felt as though they had been slighted there at the state convention in Nevada. They started throwing chairs and all those kinds of things. Are the Clinton folks getting ready for these kinds of disturbances in Philadelphia?
Well, they are, and it's interesting because Bernie Sanders supporters are applying for permits to demonstrate in Philadelphia. And so the question is, what exactly are they planning to do? And the bigger question is, what is Bernie Sanders going to do to try to guide them? And it's kind of
he didn't do much after what happened in Nevada.
Exactly. And so it's kind of incumbent upon them to offer guidance and say, let's keep this peaceful, let's be supportive of Hillary Clinton ultimately. And so it's up to him to kind of lower the temperature in Philadelphia. And so we haven't seen any signs yet of whether he's going to do that.
Where does this go from here in terms of California in about 10 days, and then what happens between California and the middle of July? Let's assume for the moment now the FBI doesn't indict her.
Right. Well, so, I mean, in terms of unifying the Democratic Party, that's a key time period, those 5.5 weeks, because at that point, Hillary Clinton will have enough delegates to be the presumptive nominee. And so the question at that point is, what is Bernie Sanders going to ask for? Is he going to ask that Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the Democratic National Committee chairwoman, step aside? Is he going to ask for, does he have a list of demands? And the Clinton folks certainly are signaling they're willing to work with him. They just want to know what he wants.
Well, maybe he doesn't even know what he wants at some point. Colleen Nelson, appreciate you being here. We'll follow your reporting in the Journal.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.